Haunted. You're listening to Still Toking with on Darkening Podcast Network.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
But thank you all for joining us. Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Do you have a hankering for horror knowledge?
We have such sights to show you.
Do you require raging retro reviews? Do you desire discussions with devastatingly dashing dorks? The Dorkening Podcast Network has nearly 30 shows to satisfy all of your nerdy, geeky, and dorky needs. From horror reviews and celebrity interviews.
Hi, I'm Adam Green, the director of the Hatchet films and the star of Holliston.
Hi, this is Dominic Pace, who played the bounty hunter Gecko from The Mandalorian.
Hi, I'm Mike Price. I'm a writer on The Simpsons. I co-created F is for Family.
Hi, guys. This is Dee Wallace from E.T. and Cujo.
Hi, my name is Kurando Mitsutake, director of Gun Woman and Karate Kill.
Hi, this is Samantha Newark, the voice of Jem and Jerica from the original Jem and the Holograms cartoon series.
As well as nostalgic trips into the past, pop culture, the latest in entertainment news, and so much more, featuring a variety of shows and hosts that will simultaneously enrage, enlighten, and entertain you. Check out the Dorkening Podcast Network.
My mom says I'm cool.
Available on iTunes, Spotify, thedorkening.com, and wherever fine podcasts can be found.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic week. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard, and I'm taking that, whether I got the promotion or not. But anyway, we got a kick-ass show for you today. With us, as always, Benjamin. How's it going?
It's going good. You can have the monkey behind the keyboard back.
Thank you, because I keep on getting confused whether I have it or not.
I'm going to have to actually find and buy you a real little figure of a monkey behind the keyboard.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Jeffrey, how's it going,
What's
bud?
happening? How's everybody doing out there?
Why does it have to be a little figure? I think we should get him like a 10-foot blow up that he has to stick behind.
Oh no, please! If I shove anything else in this office, my wife she won't be happy.
We'll get him a 10-foot blow up of a monkey Baby Yoda.
No.
No. No, I disagree with that one. So, welcome to the show. I think it's going to be a good one. I'm going to have fun with this guy. I don't know why.
Yeah, you do have fun with guys, don't you?
No, I'm gonna have fun with this guy. I'm gonna introduce him as Jimmy because I can't pronounce that. Can anybody pronounce that?
Nope.
Can you pronounce that?
Petonito.
I'm gonna give it a shot. Petonito.
Good.
Was that good?
Yeah.
So how do you say it?
That's why I say Mr. Haunted.
He's like, I can't pronounce it either.
Yeah, AKA Mr. Haunted.
Thank you.
Nice. So welcome. You kind of freaked me out a little bit today with these little weird stories. They were awesome, I must say.
Thanks.
I didn't read all of them.
You freaked me out at the Horror Fest.
How so? Just walking around?
Well, we had different booths, and towards the end, with 5 minutes left in the whole event, you came over and said, "Who are you? What is this?" I'm going to have you on the show, not knowing anything.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
We call that intuition.
Yeah. You're highly psychic, obviously.
You know? Well.
Yeah.
Highly psycho.
Yeah.
That's what I
think. Change a couple of letters.
Yeah.
So, you got into paranormal kind of stuff a long time ago.
Wow.
30 years ago, right?
Well, investigating, yeah, but I was always a creepy little kid.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but if you really want to.
Let's go.
You know
let's
what
go
I mean?
there. Let's tell the listeners how.
You were one of those kids that would go around the corner and rip the bush out of somebody's front yard, right?
No, nothing bad. But I was always fascinated with horror and hauntings, UFOs, all that stuff. And I used to sleep in my toy box. My dad was a carpenter, and he had made me this big heavy toy box with big giant silver handles on it. And I'd sleep in it like this, with a cape on. And one time he came in and says, "Jimmy, where are you?" And I creaked open my coffin, and I rose up and said, "Get the F out of the toy box, Jimmy." And then what else? I used to do a lot of. I was a creepy kid. I liked all that stuff. And then, so since childhood.
So he was always the kid that would be like hiding in the closet and just peeking out at people.
I did. You reminded me of something that I never. This is a still Toking exclusive.
Uh-oh.
When I was a kid, I asked my mom for red paint because I had a small closet in my room, and she was, "What's it for?" I said, "I want to paint my closet like the room in Amityville Horror, that room down the basement they found." But she wouldn't let me.
She wouldn't let you?
No. That's an exclusive right there.
Now, as you grew and became an adult, do you have a red room in your house?
Of course I do.
Of course I do.
The portal to hell.
That was a dumb fucking question.
Right back there.
Well, that wasn't a dumb question. It was an assumption.
It was a very good question.
So there was a particular picture that piqued your interest when you were a kid, and I find it very fascinating because my sister gave me a book that had the same picture in it, and I was mesmerized by it.
Freaked you out, right?
Oh, yeah. And I kept on reading the stories over and over again, and you list the book. It might have been the same book, but it's the Brown Lady of Rayburn, is it?
Raynham Hall.
Raynham Hall. I have the picture here.
I think it's in, yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Good job, Leo.
Wow, she is sexy.
So that picture started me. I wanted to get a picture like this brown lady. I was fascinated by it, just like you. And I didn't know where do you go to get a picture like this? So you go all through childhood. There's no Google then. I went to see Ed and Lorraine do a seminar at my college, and they were talking about a haunted cemetery in Connecticut that this white lady supposedly roams around in. So I took my camera. I waited an hour. There was no lady walking around. So I just I took a roll of film just to say I was there. And then when I got them developed, I got some interesting stuff on the film. And then I went back again and again and again. And after months, I had 2 photo albums full of pictures. And I was so stupid back then because I was getting such dramatic photos along with a lot of people that took pictures there. But if some of them weren't so dramatic, I just throw them out. I only wanted like really good pictures. So I had 2 photo albums of pictures from this particular cemetery, and that's how I started investigating.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must have been a creepy kid.
Oh yeah. Do you want to hear more? I'll tell you more. I mean, we got an hour. I don't know if you want to hear it.
We want to hear it all.
We want to hear everything.
Me and my sister. Do you remember? You guys old enough to remember like that? You didn't have a lot of toys. And if you got a cardboard box, like a big cardboard box from a delivery, you'd make a car. You do the speedometer, you make a wheel, make little pedals.
I made spaceships.
Spaceships, right? I remember that too. And so one time, me and my sister said, "Let's do something different," and we made little like partitions in it, and we made these little death rooms. I was like 6. I don't know where I get this from. And each room had a different scene. Like for example, they're all dead people we made out of Play-Doh, and like that. I try to give them. We try to give them creepy names like Ezekiel Johnson, and he was crossing the street from church, and he died. He got hit by a car, so he had his own little room, like a little funeral, little flowers and vases, and poor little Ezekiel's laying there, and we took a chunk out of his head and put a little piece of white cardboard in there showing his bone that he was injured, and there was this little baby that died, and I forget his name, but he got stuck in an escalator, so we got like a cheese grater and smushed it on his head to show the grate of the escalator stairs stuff. So there's all death rooms.
So did your parents send you to any specialists or anything?
I'm sorry, cut out.
Right?
I'm just joking.
Oh, you really did cut out.
So I wanted to ask you because I read quite a bit of that book. Now, did you travel around and like interview and meet with all these individuals?
Not all of them. A lot of them came by the internet, but we did meet with a lot of them that were local.
Okay.
So what we started, I wanted to write a book, of course, about my experiences, but Bill Hall, who's written a couple of books before, he knew the business, how to write a book and all that. So I wanted to get together with him, and he says, I really don't think we have enough to write a whole book, which we do, but he didn't think it at the time. And we said, let's do something together anyway. So we were thinking of different subjects, urban legends. I love urban legends. And then we thought of, on Facebook, you see somebody wrote, my girlfriend texted me this morning, but she's been dead for 3 years. So I said, it was actually a Facebook question. I said, does anybody have stories similar to this? And within a month, we had like 100 stories. I mean, wow. People start telling their friends, oh, they have a story. And since the book came out, we got way better stories. That when people knew what we were doing. But at least it's it's a collection of 60 stories that have to do with communication through emails, text, cell phones, that kind of thing.
It's really cool. I mean, I like the way the book was put together because they can be quick reads if you don't have a lot of time.
You keep referencing the book. So why don't you show our viewers? There it is. The book you're speaking of.
Yeah,
it's a good looking book.
That's the book. It's a nice book. But literally, you can read something in a minute and a half, or there's some that are longer that might take you 5. Like literally, they're quick little, cool little stories. So because when I get into a book, a lot of times I get lost.
Yeah,
and hours go by. So this is nice to pick up a couple of quick reads.
And there's pictures in it also.
Jeff can read. Yeah, fuck you, Jeremy.
No, Jeremy, he can't read. Didn't you notice? Jimmy just said there's pictures in it.
Yeah, there's some cool pictures in it actually. Like this little freaky one. Who's this little freaky dude? That is.
Well, he's looking at he's looking.
My daughter drew that.
Right.
Leo, where can they find out more about our guest?
If you check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, you'll find a bunch of links there. And you head to there and you can find his books and definitely go check them out. I'm going to check them out myself. So you mentioned that you got a lot of stories with communication. And actually something like that happened to me after my first wife passed. Her mother called me frantically. She goes, "Are you fucking with me? Are you texting me from her phone?" And I shut off her phone. It was like, and she was getting texts from that phone number, and it was like, we still had the phone activated, but the phone was like shut off. It was just. Did you get many? Was there many stories like that?
Yeah, what's funny is that we we went to the creep factor, you know, we wanted to write scary stories, but I was saying we got so many stories that came from loved ones that it turned into chicken soup for the paranormal soul. Because all these relatives are contacting their the deceased were talking to the relatives, and it was kind of like a lot of nice stories in there that weren't so creepy.
Yeah.
Right. But the one with the train was awesome. The train wreck. Not that the train wreck was awesome, but that story there was incredible.
Yeah, that was a good one to get. That he was messaging all. This is the man. There was a train crash, and the man was making multiple phone calls to his relatives.
Yeah, it was actually phone calls. I think 35.
Right.
Was it 35 of them?
That sounds right. And when they found the phone, it was totally if they ever found it.
They never found the phone.
Yeah. But they said he was dialing all his relatives.
Wow.
Right. Well, and the speculation was that he was reaching out for help.
Right.
But nothing was really going through. But upon investigation, they found that he was at the very front of the train.
And he was instantly.
They said he died instantly.
He wasn't sitting there calling people. Yeah.
No,
he was DOA'd.
Yeah. He was like dead immediately. So that was pretty creepy.
See,
so creepy was cool, huh?
I don't think it's creepy. I think it's kind of intriguing.
Well, it is, but it can be creepy too.
It's only creepy when your hair stands up on the back of your neck.
Well, creepy, but interesting, because we're all, looking for that glimmer of hope that there's something, past this, and it's stories like that reaffirm that, our belief that, this is not the end, We're all just bags of meat with energy in it, and that energy has to go somewhere.
Bags of meat.
I just said that yesterday. I said, do you know what? We're just a skeleton walking around with some skin on us. That's all we are.
Basically.
Bags of meat.
Oh, guys, I got a really important thing to add to this. I got into a forklift accident a few years back.
Ooh.
And they were trying to find damage on me and stuff, and they did a bone scan. I didn't know what a bone scan was. So they put you in this MRI machine, and at the end of it, you get basically a whole x-ray of your body. And you know those skeletons in science class that hang on the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Mine didn't look like that at all. It looked like like an orangutan. I want to draw it for you quick, but it's very important.
Well, you have a barrel chest, that's why.
Yeah, it really wasn't graceful.
It really wasn't graceful.
It was so embarrassing. It looked like this. That was my skeleton, not like the science class skeleton at all.
Holy shit.
Okay, yeah. Well, that was just odd. But no, you have a barrel chest. I know people with barrel chests.
Apparently, can't help it.
Barrel chest.
I'm not graceful.
Yeah, barrel chest.
Yeah.
It's wider. There's people that are wider. Their chest is just wider.
I guess, like, when some people are born an athlete, like I could be a bowler, maybe. Possibly. Yeah.
So, Jimmy, where are you located?
And Cheshire, Connecticut.
Okay. That's Cheshire's near Old Saybrook, right?
No.
He's like,
maybe Chester.
Oh, Chester, yeah.
Chester. I'm pretty much closer to Waterbury, New Haven.
Oh, okay. There we go.
But you know what? I'll be. You know where I'll be next week or a couple of weeks?
No,
I
where?
will be in Plainville, Massachusetts.
Oh, no shit. Okay, you at the casino?
Yeah. I have a party of a dart player, Tony wrote.
You have a dart party?
No, one of your listeners said I have the body of a dart player. Yeah, Jeremy.
Oh, okay.
You kind of look like a dart, Jeremy.
So the reason why I was asking that is where have you or where do you like to investigate?
Right out my answer, but I'm not.
Oh, we're losing you.
Anymore. Just I've been doing it for 30 years. I'll go with it. If my friends go to a cemetery or location, I'll go with them. But I'm just not excited about going to I'd rather go to a house, somebody's house that's having stuff or exorcism stuff, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly a lot of places in Connecticut,
Right.
Yeah.
So over the years of doing your investigations, what was one of the creepiest ones?
Creepiest ones. How about I have one that's included in the book that you have right there. I think I call it the Haunted Cable Box. Very original. Do you want me to tell you about that one?
Totally.
I haven't read that one.
That's
spoiler alert.
One of my personal stories.
Yeah, that's right.
It is that it's a case that involves communication through something electronic. I squeeze it in there, And what happened was this family, their main complaint was their cable box was talking to them. So we go there to interview them and let's keep it simple. There's a mom, dad, and a 14-year-old boy. And they said they were watching a Seinfeld rerun on a Friday night, and the cable box started flipping stations all over the place. This is back when the cable, they think it went up to 72, the whole cable, you know. Right. And they said it would just change in random stations. It would zip from 0 to 72. And they said, oh, something's wrong with the cable tonight. Let's go to sleep. The next night, it started doing the same thing at the same time. So the 14-year-old boy's cousin that lives in Florida, who they visit a lot, he just committed suicide, I think, within the last couple of weeks. So one of them said, hey, maybe it's cousin whoever trying to communicate with us. When it did that, it started racing frantically, worse. So I think it was the mom or the kid suggested, let's say that channel 1 is A and 26 is Z, like the alphabet. And as soon as they said that, it went to channels 25, 5, 19, which spells yes, using that code. So now they're all freaking out. And actually, they got scared, and they put a little statue they have praying hands next to the cable box, and they said a prayer, and they wanted to go to sleep. And when they started saying the prayer, they said the praying hands got smashed to the floor. So the next day, somehow they got brave again, and they started asking the cable box questions. So what they do is they'd ask a question like, what is your name? Where are you? You know, all these questions. So they'd write down all the numbers of the corresponding channels underneath the question, and then decipher it later. And it told this very detailed story of a man named Joseph Frank Dana who was killed in their apartment, and he was his killer was never found. He was carried out in a carpet and buried down the street underneath. They even had the address of a porch that he was buried underneath. And they got caught one day poking around. They're going to start digging underneath somebody's porch. So they believed they were talking to this man. They had this cable box would greet as they talked more to it. It would greet you as your okay. It would greet them as their age. So the father was 44. So when he came in the room, it would go to 44. When he left the room, it would flash 44 3 times. So that's a hello and goodbye. So they would have Joe parties where they'd have relatives and neighbors come over, and they'd all hang out in the hallway, and they'd walk in one by one, and the cable box would tell them their age. And then when they walk out, they'll blink it 3 times. So what else did they do with this thing? So after a while, the dad says, you know, this must be a soul in need. He goes, I want to try to help this guy out. And he called the police department. And he imagine that getting that report.
Right.
So the police officer came over, and it's in the book. I don't remember, but it told some specific details, like his children's names, his home phone number. This was before Google and all that. Told him details about him, the police officer. The spirit, or whatever we want to call it, also gave a social security number, the spirit's own social security number, to help find, his killer. And wow. So the police officer took down all the information, and they went to check on the story, and there's nobody by that name. They couldn't find anybody by that name that ever lived anywhere around here. The social security number didn't exist. There's no missing person with that name on it. So what are we talking? Who are we talking to here? So then he got his sergeant came, and it was doing the same thing to him, but he's a total non-believer. He said, it must be, the kid with another remote somewhere, a neighbor doing this. So he goes, why don't we get a cable technician over here and just swap out the cable box, see if it does the same thing. So the technician came over, and she swapped out the box, and then the guy's talking to the box in front of the police officers saying, Joe, are you there? And it wasn't working like the other one. So they kind of left them now. So then it started communicating again, but not as strongly. He said it seemed that this box they didn't like it as much. So it was really weird when we went there, when we were investigating. We were having them ask questions to the TV, and you'd hear it like a chunk chunk chunk, like it's trying to press buttons, but nothing was happening. We heard knockings in the closet. It was pretty cool. So, but other stuff started happening in the house too. Some movement of objects. They started hearing whispering in their ear when they're trying to go to sleep. Some investigators were there another night, and like the toaster moved across the table. I know I'm missing a major part here, but
you'll have to buy the book.
Yes. I don't care about that. But I remember the ending. But we interviewed them a bunch of times about. Usually, hauntings just don't start happening. It's usually something. Did you bring a new thing into the house? Did you meet somebody new? Start a new job? Or there's always some kind of dynamic that starts the haunting. And they couldn't figure out what it was, except for the boy that committed suicide in Florida. So then the 14-year-old son finally admitted, on like the fourth or fifth interview, he said, "Okay," he goes, "when I went down to hang out with my cousin, he goes, you want to go see something cool tonight?" He says, "Yeah." So they brought him to a big field where they had a big pentagram already somehow marked in the grass. And he goes, they all put on robes, and he said he was watching them, he didn't participate. But they all put on robes, and they said they started all chanting stuff. He goes, "I don't know what they're chanting. There's mumbling something over and over again." He goes, then they brought out a goat that was tied to a tree back there. You want the creepy story, right?
Yeah.
They brought out a goat. They put it in the middle of and he said no devil worship story. they took out a goat, put it in the middle of their circle, and they had a sword, and they sliced the goat's head off. And he said when they did this, he said they stopped chanting, and he goes, there's this like a yellow gold light that shot up to the sky after they did that.
Oh, that's weird.
So then we're thinking, did the stuff kind of more coincide with that? And usually you never find the answer to these things, but it's like it's possible.
Right.
It probably wasn't a good idea to do. So
the
we were
neighbor
going
was pissed because he was missing his goat.
And the sad part is someone was missing their pet that night.
Right.
Oh,
Also.
Yeah.
So we were going there over and over again because we were just investigating for Ed and Lorraine. That was their case, and they wanted us to capture evidence, and So he said, he goes, when are you guys gonna get us some help? I said, well, we don't do that. We just we investigate and then bring them our stuff, and they decide what to do. And then I just felt one week he goes, guys, I can't take it. It was our family's stressing out here. Can you help us out at all? I said, well, there's a little home exorcism we could do next weekend. So he said, I need a sip here. He said, the day before we came, the day of our visit, the cable box spoke the last time. It said, "Watch out tonight," when it hasn't been speaking for a while. So we got there, and it's just a bunch of exorcism prayers we do, and blessed church incense, holy water, that kind of thing. And the guy said, before you start, could you he had a whole Bible on cassette tape, those big giant clamshell cases with the whole Bible in there. And he goes, can I play this while you do that? I said, of course, it's your house. So he says, which one do you want to hear? I said, I'm really not an expert on this. I just pointed to a random tape. I had this all on camera, on video. And so he remember those old systems with the turntable on top and the cassette player in the middle and the big speakers.
Yeah.
So he pops it in there, and I'm recording this whole thing. And the one I picked, he puts it in, it starts playing backwards. And you know how anything backwards is creepy?
Yeah.
The Bible backwards is real creepy.
I can think of something backwards that isn't.
There's a door opening behind you.
Yes, my wife. I texted my wife to come up and let the cat out of the room.
Okay.
He's like, what?
I'm on the edge of my seat here. So the Bible starts playing backwards, and then I'm recording it, and I said, okay, that's probably not a good idea. Take that out. So he takes it out, and I said, oh, then of course they said, put it back in. Let's see if it works. Does it again? So it's playing backwards, and it's so creepy. And then I said, try the other tapes. Every other tape worked fine except for this particular tape. And like I said, I tapes do that sometimes when they're
fucked up.
And it's a possibility that's the only one that was screwed up playing backwards. But I brought it to a sound engineer, a friend of mine who I investigated his house previously, and I said, I don't know, can you look at it and see if because it wasn't twisted or anything. I said, can you see why it's doing this? And he literally said, he goes, there's nothing wrong with this tape. Get out of my house. So I don't know. I have the tape right up here somewhere too.
So we've had a few questions come in, but before we get to those, Leo, it's that time.
It's that time already? What the hell?
It's that time already. Yeah.
Fine.
What time is it?
Jeez.
Time for him to play a fucking commercial.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening, and we still got plenty of show left, so don't go anywhere. But we do have a couple sponsors here. It's time to get back into the movies. Eternals is out, and you know what? Here we go.
Did you know around 83% of Americans with disabilities are unemployed? We are changing that. The Prospector Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing competitive and integrated employment for adults with disabilities through the operation of a first-run movie theater in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We greet, seat, and treat our audiences to the best, most accessible movie-going experience in the world. Hollywood blockbusters, delicious gourmet popcorn, and one-of-a-kind pink glove service. Join us for a movie and see our sparkle in action. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.prospectortheater.org.
And to learn more about Prospector, there's links in the show notes up above or down below. It's a smart page, which has a bunch of information in there. And a couple schmucks have some hot sauce. Here we go. And you can find a link for that also in the show notes. I got both of you to smile. I saw that.
Who?
Huh? What?
What?
Nothing.
What? Huh? What?
Jeremy wanted to know, what was the farthest you've traveled or any famous sites for your investigations?
Well, as far as the local private residence investigations, been to Maine, New Hampshire, the whole New England area, down to Virginia for home investigations, Pennsylvania. But the farthest I ever went was I just went to Jamaica, not for investigation, but they gave us like a nice tour of what's it called? I forget the name of it. It's the White Witch of Rose Hall. I guess it's called Rose Hall. If you ever heard of that one, that was a cool place to visit, but not much investigation. So I'm pretty much up and down the East Coast doing one.
Nice. And he's also asking, you ever hear any of this stuff and just think the people are BSing you?
I don't. I'm sure there's one that probably was just making up a story, but usually, I think whether something's happening or not, maybe nothing's happening, but they believe that something's happening in their house. I don't think they're going to call you out to the house to tell you that they heard knocking on the door or the wall.
So whether it's true or not, they believe.
I think they believe something's going on.
Right. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Jeremy's a dart player, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was there any time where you were doing an investigation and you thought you brought something home with you?
Once. Question. So we were doing this case that we thought was this. I'll tell you a little bit about the case before I tell you. This woman, she was an older woman. She lived in an older housing complex. And she was just moving in, and the woman that lived across the hall from her, she was just trying to move her stuff in. And then she's kind of being a nudge, and she's like, "Hey, trying to talk to her." She says, "I just want to get my stuff in, and then I'll talk to you. Let me move in or whatever." So she's like, "Well, do you want to come over for dinner tonight?" She goes, "No, not right now. I'm really busy." She goes, "Tomorrow. She's flustered. She goes, "Let me talk to you tomorrow." She said that the woman didn't like that apparently. So the next day, that woman came over and she bought her a little cup of tea or something, but it was only this much stuff in the cup. And she goes, "Here, I bought you some tea." And she says, "Okay, I'll have it later." Then the lady went back across the hall, and so the lady came back later to retrieve her cup, and she says, "Did you drink the tea I gave you?" And she says, "No, I didn't." She goes, "Yeah, I know, but you'd be dead if you did." A nice neighbor. So
wow.
She would walk in. She would come into her home sometimes and just smell something bad, and she was searching for the smell, and she'd find a dead chicken underneath her bed, like a bloody chicken under her bed. So the woman came over another time, and she was doing. She said the woman had something behind her back, and she was talking to her, and she was then during the middle of the conversation, she just took it out and started like doing circles in front of her with this bag that was just a bunch of feathers and blood, and she imagined it was another chicken. These poor chickens and goats, right? So right. they found out that this lady, her son was not the landlord, but he worked in the building, so he had the keys to everything. So she's obviously they're letting him in and doing stuff, and she calls the landlord. They don't want anything to do with her, and she came in once, and there was some there's like those slate pieces in front of her door, like inside the door, and she came in once. There was like these weird chalk drawings in the slate. She was obviously trying to give me some voodoo or whatever it is.
Yeah. She was hexing her.
She was giving her a good doozy there. You know, another weird thing is, I wish I had a pair of glasses to show you. And it's just a weird thing that I never even heard of. She had about 4 or 5 pair of glasses, regular glasses, sunglasses, reading glasses. And like the lens is like this. There was this line that went across every lens she had. Like no matter which, it was just, I don't know how to explain that. Just a weird, odd thing. So this woman was terrified, didn't know what to do. And we went to her house 2 or 3 times just try to get evidence. And it was weird. Every time I drove to her house, which was maybe half hour away, my car would overheat. And it wouldn't overheat going anywhere else, just to this woman's house. Not saying that's the reason, but it was strange. And then after coming back from her home one day, I was laying in bed, ready to go to sleep. And it wasn't pitch black. The hall light was on. And I was laying on my back. And I see this black cloud, black mist in the hallway, like hovering near the ceiling. And like I never saw anything like this before, especially in somebody else's house. It's cool. You want to record it. In your own house, you don't want it. And
no,
right?
No.
Yeah, I was terrified. So then, anyways, so I'm watching it now, and it's coming. It's really moving really slow, and it was coming down the hall into the bedroom and through the doorway. And like in a second, it was going to be over my head. I just closed my eyes and didn't open them up till next morning. I didn't want to see what it was.
Right.
That's the only time I could think of something.
That you brought home.
Yeah, I would. I would be dropping a shit.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeremy says, I want to believe, but I haven't had any experiences, but I definitely could believe there could be more. Brian is asking, have you ever visited the Purple House in Colonial Williamsburg?
No, but I want to go to the Purple House in Colonial. Matter of fact, Brian, is it Brian?
Brian.
Yep. I'm using a purple light tonight to lend an air of mystery to myself.
Just throwing this out there to you, Jimmy. I sent you a couple of links for potential shows that you might want to check into. Trying to vend at next year. One of them is Tidewater Horror Convention, and that is in Virginia.
Okay.
Brian is actually one of the promoters. So I'm just saying, if you go down to Virginia, who knows?
It could be a twofer.
You could end up going to
the
Purple House. That is what we call hair.
But this flip right here has ruined my life because it was fine all day, and now we're broadcasting all over the world in hellfire. And anyway,
cut the fucking thing off then.
What month is this? That one.
Tidewater, I believe, is next September 9th, 10th, and 11th.
I want to go.
I'll send you the information.
All right.
We went down last time. It was a blast, but there's a lot of great areas right around there that you could definitely check out and investigate, or just take pictures, and maybe have another book by the time you leave. Who knows?
I hope.
Right?
I wanted to ask you guys that it's been so busy the last 2 weeks. I wanted to kind of check out your shows and know more about you guys. And just today, I'm going through your channel. I see was it D. Wallace?
Yeah.
And who else? The Children of the Corn guy.
Yeah.
And the topper, you had Potsy on.
Yes, we did.
Anson Williams.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to these shows, people.
Yeah, right.
Anson Williams. We had a lot of fun with all of them too.
Right. And now that you mention in shows, I mean, we have 2 shows next week. We're actually doing a combined show on Monday with Leo and Creator Spotlight.
What? Who authorized that?
You did.
Leo Pond did.
Oh, okay.
So you better fucking call him. Okay. And that's with Joel Soyson, the Hollywood producer from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, multiple horror films. So we're doing a combined show on that night.
That's because we had to cancel last week because we couldn't do it.
We lost power. Yeah,
everybody
what the
lost
hell?
power.
Mother Nature. And then the following that Wednesday, we actually have Doug Rice. Doug Rice is a well-known animator for Warner Brothers, Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs. He's also a comic book creator. Did I just lose my headset?
No.
Did you? It's still on your head.
Yeah, I did. Did I lose my mic?
No, I can hear you.
No.
You're good. Carry on.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't hear.
Yeah, he can't hear. Well, fuck him then. Fuck you, Ben, asshole.
I'm leaving.
Nice.
While you take your Ambien, I just took my pill as well.
Speaking of Anson Williams, I learned that sign language from a Happy Days episode when Fonzie was dating the deaf girl, and he learned how to say happy birthday. Forget her name.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Old? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny because my wife's she's started taking sign language classes. She's actually in it right now, I believe. Same time as our show is every Wednesday. Yep.
Did you watch Only Murders in the Building?
No.
No. It's on Hulu. There's one of the potential killers is deaf, and there's
What are we talking about?
sign language.
No, I thought you were talking about the new Martin Short and Steve Martin comedy.
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, Only Murders in the Building. Yeah,
okay.
Have you watched
You
it?
hiding behind smoke there, Jimmy?
Yes. To lend an air of mystery.
Right?
Oh, speaking
Yes.
of nostalgia, guess whose program I was on as a guest?
Who?
Sidney Brady.
Really?
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Nice. You have your own show too, don't you? A radio show?
Well, yes, our network. He took the network down, and we did 70 years, almost 300 episodes. So next year we're gonna find a format and start over again.
It's right here.
Well,
you're on the network right now.
We should talk when you're ready.
Yeah, when we're ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like your production here.
Thank you.
So and I mean, the network's pretty big. I mean, Leo's got 40.
About 40. Yeah, 40 something. We have several in the queue right now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
and
We're good.
podcasting, radio, video, everything.
And do you
So-
know who my what?
Just before we were all signing on, you sent a message in that group message. Okay.
I was just looking at that.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
This is why I don't get asked to speak at events because you remember in school.
He asked a question. He got booted.
Yeah.
Who did? Oh no! See what
Ooh.
happens?
Jeremy, talk to me about that.
Listen, Jeremy, we're waiting. Anytime, man. Anytime. Go ahead, Jimmy. Back
So,
to you.
You remember in school when you did an art project where you get a piece of cardboard and you get pictures from magazines and cut them out and make a scene out of the thing. So I love doing that. So as an adult, instead of doing the regular slideshow presentation, I actually created like poster boards 2 by 3 feet. And I either drew the pictures or cut pieces off magazines to make the whole scene. And I told the story. That was the first incident I had that I would consider a paranormal experience as a child. And I sent you the 3 panels of my story.
Ah, okay, that's what that is.
That's cool.
Yeah, I had an incident happen when I was like 8 or 9.
Well, because I think in the message you're like, this is interesting. If you want to ask me about it,
If you-
however you said it.
You
Yeah, there
you
they
have
are.
them. Okay, I was going to draw it for you. Okay, this picture right here. This is great, guys. Thank you. Right here, this is little Jimmy and his mom, divorced mom, and remember my dad left because of the vampire incidents and I was hypnotizing him one day. I'll tell you later. But my mom was having company over, and she said, here's Jimmy. We need to talk. I'm having a friend over in the kitchen, and just stay up in your room and don't bother us, right? So the next scene. There's Jimmy Courtney.
That's
yep,
Jeremy.
that's right here. I tried to be accurate as possible with my room. You see the snacks, you see the Kiss poster. That I was afraid of Gene Simmons, so I'd flip it around at night because I was scared to look at him. This is very accurate. So I was laying on my bed like this, and I was listening to a baseball game on the radio.
Eating
It was
Skittles.
the Mets is the only station that we got, so I was listening to a Mets game, and the radio started changing stations. And even as a little kid, I was smart enough to say, it's probably some kind of interference or something. But then I looked at the dial. See my face? See the expression? The dial, I can see the dial moving back and forth on the radio by itself. So I'm freaking out. You can see my expression. And I said, well, my mom said, do not go downstairs. And I'm more afraid of my mom than the radio. So see how my legs are propped in the air like that? Something threw my legs down on the bed really hard, like they were bent, and they slammed them down onto the bed really hard. So the radio's changing stations. My legs got thrown down. I ran downstairs. Next scene. This is great. That's why when I go downstairs, Ma, there's a ghost in my room. Threw my legs down. It's changing the radio all over the place. There's a ghost in my room. And she says, Jenny, get back upstairs. There's no such thing as ghosts. And it's an actual portrayal. I actually had a Siamese cat named Ming right there. Everybody had that little praying guy with the bread in their house, the picture. It's a pretty accurate portrayal of what happened that day. So I'm saying, like, because of that incident, that might have piqued my interest in trying to figure out what's going on here.
Right.
Still haven't figured it
Okay.
out, but that was a moment. You know. Thanks for doing that.
Oh, totally. There was one inaccuracy though.
Uh-oh.
Where's your Hulk pajamas?
How do you know about? Jeez, this guy's good. I am such a nerd. You know how you guys love comics, right?
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid, I collected comics, and we got beat up in school for liking comic books. I was Hulk. My friend was Captain America. The other one was Thor, and we'd have adventures on recess. And everybody else was cool. Doing 3-card Monty and playing basketball, and we're playing superheroes. And now, so I did have an Incredible Hulk because I had shirts, and I wear them every night. And that wasn't accurate. I didn't. You're correct on that. I'll take that hit right there.
I'll take that hit right there.
Yes, usually we all do our research on the guest. I was slacking this week.
Well, you got a lot going on, but yeah, it's definitely a really good representation though. I like the art.
How'd you find that? I was looking for shit. Where'd you find that?
I don't know. I read it somewhere.
Okay.
I think on my website, my website used to be 25 pages long with pictures and stories. And I say nowadays people like simplify like just a main page with a couple links. And I had some guy redo it for me. I just wanted one page, but it's still all messed up with codes and stuff. And one day we'll have one of you guys fix it for me. I just want one page,
right? Just
with your basic story and a link to, the book or something or the radio show.
Well, if you join a network, we can help you with that.
Thank you.
Well, no, it's one of the perks of being on a network, web hosting with, like a WordPress site and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not tech savvy so much. Not.
No, you didn't get the right headphones so you could wear your hat.
Exactly.
That was a fail.
Do you get, yeah. I don't know.
No, you know what? You're wrong. You're wrong.
Who's wrong?
Because because I have a bunch of top hats, and I did cut one out.
You did?
Yeah. But I'm wrong. I don't have it with me, but I did cut one out so I could wear it over the headphones.
Oh, nice.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So for somebody that wants to get into investigating, because you see all these shows on TV, all these paranormal people, and tons of people are trying to get into it. What's some advice you would give somebody starting out?
I would say a lot of people just want to jump into investigating people's homes, but I started in I just try to find local places that were haunted for myself, or you could join a team if somebody wants to jump right in. There's when I was a kid there was Ed and Lorraine Warren and like a group in England, and that's it. Like that's all. There wasn't any groups. Now there's a group on every block. So just on Facebook, I'm sure there's a group in your area if you want to join a group. That's probably better advice than going taking pictures in a cemetery like I did.
And hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Right.
Or start your own.
Now, have you ever been to Sleepy Hollow?
No.
Oh, you should go there.
I want to go to Sleepy Hollow. I want to.
When we go to film there, we'll bring them down.
Yeah, I want to film there. I haven't gone that much. I haven't gone many places. This year
that was cool.
Yeah.
It was the first year I went west of Pennsylvania when I went to Arizona for that event this year. I need to start going places.
Sleepy Hollow's right in New York.
Yeah, I haven't been.
Yeah. Actually, the gentleman that's filming our TV series, his wife's family owns 90% of the cemetery. So we got an in-depth.
A lot of her family, her whole family is like buried there.
Yeah, we got a very in-depth tour of Sleepy Hollow Cemetery.
Yeah, a lot of cool crypts and a lot of cool stones.
The bridges.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out for sure.
And Jeremy, I might take you up on that offer at some point.
Hunting for what? What are we hunting for?
I'm assuming ghost hunting.
Well, what the hell? I want to go.
I want to find some cryptids.
Oh. Well, Jeff is near a place.
Yeah, I'm right near the Bridgewater Triangle, they call it.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be Sasquatch in
mini Sasquatch. I think there's mini Sasquatch.
You get the mini Sasquatch, but I'm sure there's regular Sasquatch
Is that the little puckwudgies?
Little puckwudgies, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are.
They're
Yeah, little
adorable.
mini Sasquatch, yeah. They're like a tribble with legs.
Jeez. So what type of cryptid would you like to go after?
Kind of looks like this. Oh,
right.
I want to see. I help a friend's podcast because I don't have time to do a weekly one now. But I made up a feature called Cryptid Corner, where each week I'll send them a 2-minute clip on just describing some cryptid.
Nice.
I want to see. And then this week I researched the Duende. Did you ever hear that one?
No.
No.
Which startled me, Jeff, because it's Duende. It's mainly Mexican and South African lore. It's this little creature that lives in the woods, like a gnome-like creature. But it, on a good side, it helps you out of the woods if you're lost. It's like a little sprite. On a bad thing, they said like they'll go up to little kids and clip their toenails if they're untidy while they're sleeping. They said sometimes they might cut a toe off by accident. So it's a lesson to tell the kids to clean their toes. But this Duende also, they said, is a little creature that lives in the walls of bedrooms, especially little children. And there's a story in the book right there. There's pictures of like little trolls coming out of a doorway in the kid's bedroom. And I just linked that today. I said maybe those little duendes in there.
It could be.
Could
Damn
be.
things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight all that stuff. There's a Florida swamp person, the Mothman, the werewolf up there in Wisconsin. The Bray Road monster.
Yeah, Bray Road.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in those now because you could actually make those. I want to find one. Cool.
That would be cool as shit.
Yeah, I would.
You also were involved in some exorcisms, weren't you?
I was.
I mean, that's going to be a really...
I don't know.
That's a really, really odd experience, I can only imagine.
That's a whole story. I tried to do a 2-minute, like a little bit of it if you want.
I'll give you 5.
Okay. So, we had a group that wanted to investigate less because with the Warrens, like they were getting the worst of the worst around the world, the terrible cases, and it was a large group. So, for example, the cable box house, like we'd go one day and then it's in another group the next day, and we'd rarely see a case from beginning to end just because it was a large group, So we said let's start it in like a little side group that we could just, we do our own little case. Like hopefully it's an Aunt Jenny ghost and not a demon all the time. So we could follow it from beginning to end, and it'll be like wrap it up and it'll be nice. So the first case we ever did was this woman that was having this 18-year-old woman, 19-year-old boyfriend. They rented this home in Palmer, Massachusetts, and they were complaining of scratching on the walls almost as soon as they moved in, and they put new carpeting down, wallpapered the house, and they wake up in the morning and actually see the claw marks in the wallpaper, and each day it seemed to get closer to the upstairs bedroom. So they were terrified as what's going to happen when it gets up there. So we were saying another thing is, okay, it started when you moved in the house. Do you have any other haunting experiences as you were growing up? And the woman's mother came along for the interview, and she said, well, when she was 13, we have these videos of her that there's all unexplainable stuff was happening to her. They have a video of her getting thrashed. Like it looks like somebody's holding her wrist and just throwing her from wall to wall. Another video, she's laying in bed crying, and something's holding her hand above her head, twisting it back and forth. It's been on TV. Twisting her hand back rapid fire, and she's crying. She said, cut my arm off. It hurts so bad. And that she actually broke bones in her hand and wrist from this happening. So for a year, this weird stuff went on. They brought her to spend tens of thousands on specialists, and they couldn't really find an answer. So we just thought maybe they're connected. Maybe she had some kind of demonic oppression or something trying to hurt her. And then this being in this house opened it up again or something. So the things that happened to her when she was 13, it ended in a year, like just ended. Like nobody knows why. So we talked to Bishop over here, and he says, well, he'd be willing to give her an exorcism. And she said she was willing to try. And she said, I don't think anything's going to happen to me. But she wasn't giving those outward signs of a person under the influence. Just, the scratchings, here's some voices and stuff. So during the priest was starting his prayers, and she started like trying to get out of her seat. and then she started screaming, like, and her eyes like turned like a different color. Like, oh wow, what's going on here? So we had to put restraints on her. And this is one of the rare instances where he did his exorcism, and at the end of it, she was good afterwards. So we put this story on our this is back in '94 or '5. We had a little website back then, and we wrote up that story. And a producer from ABC came across it and wanted to do a special on it for Primetime Live. So we all agreed to it, and because of that, and I remember back then when we only had a few channels, everyone watched that show. And the next after that show aired, we got calls from all over the country saying my son, my daughter, my friend, my spouse, they're talking Latin, walking on the ceiling. Like, we can't find any help here. So our group were weeding them out, trying to find the ones that seemed legit. And we're in our 20s. We're coordinating plane flights for people, picking up people from airports, bringing them to the church. So we only did them like once a week on Exorcism Wednesday at the church, and we
Wow.
it was crazy for a year or two.
Wow,
that's
how
awesome.
that started.
Now, how many did you end up doing?
We're up to 50, and it wasn't me. It was like I was an assistant.
Right.
Like,
Well, just being involved in witnessing something like that.
Right.
Well, it is scary just because you're connecting the person with the help that they might, assuming that these are all legit, or even one was legit, it would be worth it. But you're coordinating them getting the help they need, their transportation. You're helping restrain the individuals, and the scariest part is a lot of them say the same thing. Like when you're all around them and they try to attack the priest, or they threaten the priest, and then they look at us and they said, and you people that are helping, we're going to get you. It might not be today, tomorrow, or we're going to get you. That's not nice to hear on a Wednesday afternoon.
No.
Right.
At all.
No. So were they all like very, very similar in nature?
No. There's some that were very uneventful that they don't even have any kind of reaction. There's other ones that are gouging their eyes out, biting me when you're trying to help them. I was trying to stop her from gouging her eyes out, and she's biting me on my arms. When they have knowledge of the unknown, that's what scares me more than breaking out of stuff. Or, a lot of people did talk in other languages they don't claim to know. But when they, for example, our job was to before the person got there, we'd set up the altar for the priest. We get this chair from outside that's an exorcism chair. It had restraints on it. We'd get his books ready, clear out the area so he's all ready to go. And only me and a police officer showed up one Wednesday to assist, and we only knew that some woman was coming from Virginia. We didn't know what she looked like or anything. We just knew she's coming from Virginia. So we're a little early, and we got done early, and he's just saying, "Hey, Jim," he goes, I got to a fight with my mom last night on the phone. I said terrible things. As soon as I get home, I got to apologize to her. It was just a conversation. So then a half hour later, they bring in the woman from Virginia, literally 88 pounds. So during she's the one who was gouging her eyes out, by the way. During the prayer, she's just sitting there looking at the priest, listening. And then for no reason, she just turned to the priest, turned to the police officer, and she says, "And you, the way you talked to your mother last night, that was disgusting." And then just went right back to the priest. And that scared me, because you don't know what they know everything about you, or they're going to start saying things that you did, or
well,
that's scary when they know something they shouldn't know. Yeah.
It's just
cool.
got silent. It just went,
that's really cool stuff.
Leo, you got another show tonight?
I do.
All right. Then
excellent.
We're a little past, but that's all good. What's this? Well, we just had something pop up.
Yep. Ryan Price says, I had an experience where I had something attached to me for years, and one of the main things that used to bother me as a kid, I'd always felt like bugs were moving around under my skin, and I'd have like uncontrollable rage. And when it finally got removed from me, it started hailing outside. Like as soon as I felt it detached, I felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted off me, and my rage issues disappeared.
We've heard that symptom before with the bugs under the skin, or it feels like worms are crawling underneath your. I've heard that. Yeah.
Last question I'll hit you with is working with Ed and Lorraine. What are your thoughts on the depiction of them on the Conjuring movies?
Well, the last one was. I mean, the last one I didn't really care for.
That was The Devil Made Me Do It, right?
The Devil Made Me Do It. Yeah. Tell you the subject of the Devil Made Me Do It, Arnie Johnson, nicest guy in the world. But the story with there was one scene where I think Lorraine was hanging off the cliff and Ed helped her up, and Lorraine was crawling underneath a building. They made it more like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
You know,
they Hollywooded it out.
Oh yeah, really bad. Like if they stick with the story, it's gonna be a good story anyway, and do your thing to it. But when it gets like that, because people really think that all these things happen, and then you're trying to At the first one I liked a lot. The first Conjuring I liked a lot.
Nice.
But they're all it's sensationalized. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of has to be.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to digging into the rest of this thing.
Thanks. When's our next event that we can go to next year? Is it next year?
I
haven't done these events before, so I started a couple years ago. So I like doing them.
Right. Yeah, the HorrorCon. There's one next year. I mean, Jeff and I we do all kinds of events. We do everything from cannabis events to music events, entertainment, horror, Comic-Cons. So
I have Hulk number 4.
Nice. He only brings that up when he has his Hulk pajamas on, folks.
Jeremy, he's probably got Hulk underwear.
Jeremy, we're doing the Dorkening next. Going to be talking about some not video games. My mind is wiped right now. Just the regular Dorkening, entertainment stuff. So if you want to join us, you're always free.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. The new Boba Fett
Dork
trailer.
Out Hour.
The Dork Out Hour. Yeah. The new Boba Fett trailer. The some good stuff this week.
Absolutely. Cool.
Leo.
Yes, sir.
Do your thing.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. If you want to follow Mr. Haunted, I got his information and shown us up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but more importantly, follow these awesome people. And I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. Got about 40 shows on the network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. Just head on over to thedorkening.com for more information. And with that, Jimmy, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
Facebook's easier for me. I'm old. Just go on my Facebook, Mr. Haunted.
Mr. Haunted. Okay. Jeffrey.
StillToking.com, that's where you want to go. Although there's some opportunities coming up for those in our local area. Let's see. Saturday, we're going to be spending at Rhode Island Comic Con. We'll be hanging around with Bill, so look for Bill Diamond set up, and we will be there with him. That's probably just for the day on Saturday. We're unsure of that yet. Next weekend, 13th, 14th, is that right? 13th, 14th, in Worcester at the Harvest Cup. You should come check that show out. It is incredible. And then the following weekend after that, we will be in Framingham at Super Mega Fest. So tons of opportunity to come out and say hi, check us out, see what we're all up to, and the new things that are happening.
Where are we going to be in December?
Well, I wasn't going to go that far ahead, but in December 9th or 10th, 11th, something like that.
Yeah.
We'll be out at Steel City Comic Con in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Cool beans. Benjamin.
Like he said, stilltoking.com. Or you can go to the Facebook page, tagged right at the top is all the appearances that we're going to be at, and it constantly changes. Like I said, next week we have 2 shows, 2 great guests. But every week we have great guests. Like Mr. Haunted tonight, we want to thank him for coming out. But we want to thank all our veterans and first responders for doing what you do every day, so people like us can come up here and do what we do. We'll see you. We're out of here. Be safe.
Bye. Where's the damn button? Where's the damn button?
You in the button.